Hello everyone, today we are going to do the next part of this chapter number 9, force and laws of motion. In the previous classes we had learned 3 laws of motions like Newton's first law, second law and third law. While doing Newton's first law we had learned a concept called inertia, which means tendency to resist change. We had discussed many examples, and while doing second law we had come across a term called momentum, and we had done the derivation for the second law, which proved that F is equal to ma. Second law states that rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force, right? And momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Third law, which we finished in the last session, states that every action has equal and opposite reaction. We had learnt many examples to understand that third law, like when you fire a bullet out of a gun, the bullet moves in the forward direction whereas the gun recoils back. And when a person jumps out of a moving boat, he moves in the forward direction whereas the boat will move in the backward direction. These were all cited as examples for understanding third law of motion. So in today's session we will be doing this law of conservation of momentum. So the term momentum is already taught to you. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity. Remember, all of you, momentum is the product of mass and velocity. You should know momentum, then only you can proceed with this law of conservation of momentum. And one more thing, this law of conservation of momentum cannot be used for proving anything. It can be used to verify an experiment, or it can be used for disproving an experiment, right? So this you should be thorough with. So before getting into this law of conservation of momentum, let me explain you. Momentum is the product of mass and velocity, and your second law states that rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force, and your third law states every action has equal and opposite reaction. So you should be thorough with these two laws when you have to do this law of conservation of momentum. We have got a derivation for this law of conservation of momentum also. Okay, so physics, conservation means no change. And if we put the term momentum with this conservation, it means momentum does not change, or momentum remains constant over a period of time. So conservation of momentum is mainly used to describe collision between two objects. So we are going to do law of conservation of momentum. So conservation of momentum is mainly used to describe collision between two objects. What happens after collision? What is seen before collision? What is happening during collision? This is what we will be learning. Okay. Already seen that conservation of momentum is mainly used to describe collision between two objects. Before getting into the law of conservation of momentum, we should know about the magnitude of force acting on the objects that come in contact with each other, that is when they collide with each other. When a batsman hits a ball, the ball normally crosses boundary or accelerates very fast. What we feel is the bat is exerting a greater force on the ball, because of which the ball is able to accelerate at a greater speed. But actually speaking, the force acting on the ball as well as on the bat remains the same. The force acting on the ball and the bat are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. The ball is accelerating very fast because the mass of the ball is lesser when compared to the mass of the bat. Since the ball is lighter in mass, the force that is exerted by the bat on the ball is making it move at a greater speed. This we have done, the relationship between this acceleration, mass, force and all we have done while doing second law of motion, right? So the force acting on the bat and the ball is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. The ball being lighter in mass is acquiring greater acceleration. Clear? So we have seen that when the bat and the ball come in contact with each other, a collision is happening between them. They are coming in contact with each other. So at this point of time, the force acting on both the objects are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, and obviously objects with lighter mass will acquire greater acceleration. So this conservation of momentum is applicable only to isolated system of objects. Isolated system means what? A system wherein no other external unbalanced force acts. So while doing this conservation of momentum, we are not going to consider any unbalanced force acting from outside, acting external. Okay. We have seen that when a ball was hit by the bat, both the ball and bat possess same amount of force. Force acting on them is equal in magnitude when they come in contact with each other. That is during collision. They are equal in magnitude and opposite in direction, right? The ball is moving faster because of its light mass. So, when you talk about conservation of momentum, you will not talk about any external force there. So, to derive this law of conservation of momentum and to learn the law, first we will derive and then we will learn the law. We are taking an example. Let's take two balls, A and B. And we will assume the mass of ball A as MA and mass of ball B as MB. Now, the balls are made to move along a straight line in the same direction. They are spherical in shape. So, they will automatically move. So, those two balls are made to move in the same direction with different velocities. We'll assume the velocity of ball A as UA and ball B as UB. They are moving along a straight line in the same direction with different velocities UA and UB. Velocity, initial velocity of ball A is UA and initial velocity of ball B is UB. Now, what will happen? They will move for some time and after some time they will come in contact with each other. That means they will collide with each other. So, during this collision, ball A will exert a force on B, which is called as the action force, and ball B will exert a force on A, which is called as the reaction force, in two opposite direction. We saw, no, when a bat and a ball come in contact with each other, the forces acting on them are in two different directions with equal magnitude when they collide with each other. The same thing happens here. So, the force acting on this ball A and B are opposite in direction. We'll assume the force exerted by ball A on B as FAB or F1. It's up to you. And the force exerted by ball B on A as FBA or F2. Now, after collision, what will happen? They will again split apart and begin its movement. So, at that time, their velocities changes to VA and VB. That is, velocity of ball A after collision will change to VA and velocity of ball B after collision will change to VB. Now, let's calculate their momentum before collision and after collision. Now, after collision, they both will begin to move, split apart, right? So, now the momentum of ball A before collision. What is the formula for momentum? Mass into velocity. So, before collision, what is the velocity of ball A? UA. So, before collision, the momentum of ball A will be MA UA because we have assumed initial velocity as UA for ball A. So, momentum of ball B will be MB UB, initial momentum. First, let's talk about ball A. Its initial momentum before collision and its momentum after collision, right? And then we'll calculate its change in momentum also. So, the momentum of the ball A before collision is MAUA and after collision the velocity has changed to VA. So, the momentum will also be MAVA. Change in momentum is final momentum minus initial momentum, right? So, MAVA minus MAUA. Now, let's talk about the momentum, initial momentum and final momentum. That is momentum before collision and momentum after collision on ball B. Momentum before collision on ball A with velocity UB before collision. So, the momentum is the product of mass and velocity. So, initial momentum of ball B will be MA, right? No, it's MB UB. Momentum of ball B after collision will be MB VB. So, change in momentum will be MB VB minus MB UB. Look at the expressions given here. Now, your second law of motion states that force applied is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum. So what is the force exerted by ball A on B? We have assumed it as FAB. So that FAB will be equal to MAVA minus MAUA upon T. Rate of change of momentum is always with respect to time. We will take MA as the common factor because we are talking about ball A, right? So we'll put MA outside the bracket and we'll write VA minus UA upon T. Now let's talk about the momentum before collision and after collision in the case of ball B. So the momentum of ball B before collision is a product of mass and velocity. Velocity of ball B before collision is UB. So initial momentum, the momentum of the ball B before collision is MBUB, and momentum of the ball B after collision is MBVB. Change in momentum is always your final minus initial. So MBVB minus MBUB. So again, according to your second law of motion, force is directly proportional to the rate of change of momentum, or rate of change of momentum is directly proportional to the applied force. So what is the force exerted by B on A? It is FBA or F2 I say. So FBA is equal to MBVB minus MBUB upon T. So what should be taken as a common factor between this MBVB and MBUB? It is MB. So MB into VB minus UB upon T. So according to third law of motion, every action has equal and opposite reaction. So FAB, it is the force exerted by ball A on B, is equal to minus FBA. Why have I used a negative sign here? Because reaction force is always in the opposite direction. So force exerted by ball A on B is your action force. Force exerted by ball B on A is going to be a reaction force. Just come with a negative sign. Now we are substituting rate of change of momentum in the place of this force of ball A and ball B. So it becomes MA into VA minus UA upon T is equal to MB into VB minus UB upon T. You can cancel T on both sides, and if you are removing the bracket, what will happen? MAVA minus MAUA is equal to minus MBVB, and there is a minus sign in between. So minus sign is there with this MB also. So minus into minus plus MBUB. So now we have got this expression MAVA minus MAUA is equal to minus MBVB plus MBUB. Now when you bring the like term together, that means momentum before collision and momentum after collision together, the equation now becomes MAUA plus MBUB is equal to MAVA plus MBVB. It can be written other way around also. You can keep MAVA and you can bring this minus MBVB to this side. It will become plus MBVB, and when minus MAUA goes to the other side, it will become plus MAUA. It remains both the same. So your law of conservation of momentum states that this total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Okay, so the sum of momenta of the two objects before collision is equal to the sum of momenta after the collision, provided there is no external unbalanced force acting on them. This is known as your law of conservation of momentum. So I can give you one more example to make you understand. Imagine a truck coming with a very high velocity. If it hits a stationary car, what will happen? The car will gain the velocity which is lost by the truck, and the car will begin to move with a great velocity. So what happened? The momentum, the motion that is lost by the truck is gained by the car. It is never lost. So momentum remains conserved. That means unchanged. Clear to you? So the examples like your rocket, it works on the principle of this law of conservation of momentum. Then your jet aeroplane, it also works on the principle of law of conservation of momentum. Clear to you? So you have learnt law of conservation of momentum, which states that total momentum before collision is equal to total momentum after collision. Momentum is never lost anywhere. Momentum lost by one object is gained by the other object during collision, and at that time no external force acts. That means during collision there is no external unbalanced force. Clear to you? Yes, with this we are coming to an end. Okay, So in the next session, the lesson is over with this. In the next session, I'll give you some more examples pertaining to this Newton's law of motion and law of conservation of momentum, and then we'll solve few sums. Okay, with this I'm not attaching any worksheet. I have already given 2 worksheets. Please solve it. As we solve the sums, that time I'll start giving you worksheets. Okay, take care.